Yes, good morning guys. I have just woken up, if you couldn't tell, and today it's going to be a full day of eating. It's currently, I think, 6, 6. I woke up a couple of minutes before my alarm went off. I am literally going to hydrate myself, go out on a short walk, like 2.5, 3k steps, come back, do my cardio, and then I'm going to go on another walk, do the exact same walk again, so I can get to about 5, 6k steps, plus do my cardio, and then I will start my day off with a shower and meal one. Now, like I said, I think this is going to be a full day of eating, potentially. I'm going to show you guys what I eat throughout the day on a diet, but today might be, I have a feeling it may be an impromptu high day, because today's my check-in day, and also I've hit a couple of new lows over the last days, and just because I'm reversing out of the diet this week, I think there's a high chance it might be a high day. So on the off chance it is a high day, I'm going to wait a little bit longer, push my first meal back a little bit more. I'm going to send my check-in over as I always do on this walk that I'm about to go on. But first of all, I'm going to start my day off by making myself a drink. So we've got Trained by JP hydration product, and we've got some creatine to have alongside that. 10 grams of this and a serving of this, which is also 10 grams. And then I've got a Monster, which I'll drink on my walk once I've hydrated myself a little bit more, just to start getting my heart rate up prior to going into cardio. Yes, guys, so we're out on that first walk that I was on about. Now, honestly, I've been pushing steps pretty hard this last week. Reese bumped my steps up for this, so last week was my last full week of the diet, so Reese bumped my steps up by 1k. But the thing is, my average steps and like where my sort of usual steps lie is generally above what that would be like for the minimum. So they went from 12.5k to 13.5k, but my average steps is usually around 15k. So I was just like, okay, well, I'm going to do more steps. So I was just like, okay, I'm going to do an extra like 1 to 1.5k on top of my usual average for each day of the week, because generally they're pretty consistent, but they obviously range. So for example, like on Tuesday, Wednesday, my step count's usually around like 14, 15k. So I was like, fine, I'll do like 16, 17k. So essentially I've done like nearly 17k steps every day for the last week or so. So yeah, I've been pushing kind of hard in that regard, because I've been basically, because it's the last week of diet, I was like, I want to kind of push myself a little bit, but because it's been so fucking hot, because it's currently a heat wave, I haven't really wanted to do extra cardio. I've done a bit of extra cardio, but it's doing extra cardio in the heat is a bit grim. So I was just like, okay, well, I'll just do a shit ton of steps. So I've done quite a lot of steps this past week. I think this week I'm reversing out, or having a few high days and then sort of reversing out, which I'm kind of excited for. I need to grow. I've got a lot of growing to do before I get on stage next year. But yeah, it'll be interesting, so I'll keep you guys updated. I'm going to send over my check-in now. But peak diet stats, daily cardio, 30 minutes. It's been pretty much the same throughout most of the diet. It was 25 for a while. But yeah, so 12 weeks of dieting, I've done like 2,000 minutes worth of cardio, which is kind of cool to think about. And over 1 million steps, with like averaging about 15k a day for the most part. And then food got to a low of 350 carb, like 37 fat, 253 protein on training days, and then on non-training days 220 grams of carbs, but not actually 220 grams of carbs, which come on to in a minute. 220 grams of carbs, 50 grams of fats, and 250 grams of protein. But it actually wasn't 220 grams of carbs, because basically it's probably about 190 grams of carbs-ish, because I was using a Fdoe Mexican rice packet. But before I switched to the Fdoe one, because I prefer the Fdoe one, it's nicer, I was using like just the Asda's own brand one, which has more carbs per half pack, and I'll have a whole pack split between 2 meals on my rest days. But the Fdoe one is only 24 grams of carbs for half a pack, whereas the Asda one's like 35 grams of carbs. So I was like actually on around 200 grams of carbs. But oh well, fuck it. I figured it out, and I was like, oh, I'm not going back now. I'm gonna get even leaner if I have this Fdoe packet. And also the Fdoe one's nicer. It's got like little beans in, because it's like a Mexican rice packet, and I like having those on my rest days. But yeah, that's that. I'm gonna send over my check-in now, and I'll keep you guys updated throughout the day. So this might be a bit of an impromptu high day, and maybe just a full day of eating. But yeah, things are looking like a nice day. I'm also actually training at a different gym today. I'm going to go to Invictus to try out the new OG Cybex Smith and some Nautilus kit, which will be fun for a push day. And I'll probably film some of that too, which will be cool. Right guys, so that was that CV wrapped up. We're currently out on our second walk now. 30 minutes, nothing too long duration wise. I don't mind doing cardio at a higher frequency. I think a lot of people, especially if you're an enhanced athlete, should be doing cardio for the cardiovascular sort of benefits at a higher frequency anyway. But I think a lot of people, like, they'll go into a diet and they'll be so afraid of like doing cardio more than like just on their rest days. And yeah, you don't need to, but you definitely can. And I think a lot of people would do anything to almost avoid doing more cardio because they'd rather just eat less food. But in reality, like, just use both. Obviously it's going to depend on you as an individual, but like I said, I think a lot of people will just pull away food and pull away food and pull away food, and obviously you can do that, but at the same time food's going to fuel your performance. So I think having a bit of a mixture of, you know, output and input, and manipulating both of those tools more evenly is generally what's going to work better. I like to sometimes give my clients a bit of autonomy when it comes to like giving them the chance to maybe pick which one they actually have taken away. So do I potentially drop a bit of food, or do I potentially increase their step count or their cardio count, whichever one they prefer. Sometimes I won't give them that autonomy, but especially if it's a lifestyle client, just giving them a bit of freedom in that choice can be sort of very beneficial. I don't know if I'm the only person who, like, when they walk by like long grass like this, just like grabs little bits like that. But yeah, anyway, gonna finish off this walk now, go have a shower, and then I'll eat meal one, whichever, and show you guys what that is. Oh shit, oh, you can tell I'm hyped up. Gotta get the mic on. Alright, so as you can see, I've butchered putting on the mic, but I'm literally just coming back from my walk, and good thing I knew I called the impromptu high day. It is a high day. To be fair, I kind of saw it coming. Like, realistically, Reese kind of gave me a heads up last week. But essentially, we've got 700 grams of carbs going in today, fats 45, and 260 protein. So I'll manipulate all my carbs. I'm literally just going to increase the food that I already eat. And then I'm going to pull down a bit of whey from a couple of meals, because otherwise, if with all the extra carbs in, the amount of trace protein, will put me up to like 290 protein, and I'm supposed to have like 260. So I'm going to pull down the whey a little bit in my 2 whey meals just to get to that sort of 260 mark. Chicken, I don't want to like pull away chicken because I do it in batches, so I like standardizing the amount I have there. I could pull away like some turkey rashers, to be fair, if I wanted, but I just pull away whey. But yeah, high day going in. Also my first increment in protein. Am I gonna leave this in the video, or am I not? I'm gonna refilm that. So let me rephrase that. So we've seen our first increment in protein today, increase of 50 milligrams, which is pretty exciting. So high day today, another high day as well on Friday, and yeah, it's gonna be a pretty cool week. So let's fucking get it. And on top of that, cardio is out on leg days, which I'm gonna be honest, I'm quite happy about, because I don't mind. If I have to do cardio on leg days, I'll do it. I have been doing it, but I do it. I go to work, then I train legs, and then I do cardio. So it's like the last thing I do, and I'm just like, fucking hell, like my legs is cooked. But either way, I'll get it done. Whatever it is, I always like to get it done. I can't go, like, I hate the idea of like not being able to tick a certain box. Like, imagine you get on stage and you've missed something, you've missed the mark on something. Like, how shit would you feel? Especially if you, like, even if you won. Like, if you won, I'd argue it would almost feel worse, because yeah, I don't know, but either way, let's fucking get this bread, bro. Yes, guys, so unfortunately, I don't know what happened, because I was wearing my mic and I'm pretty sure it was turned on, but either way, there is no audio for this clip whatsoever, nor the next clip. So either way, here's my first meal. As you can see, it is cream of rice, rice pudding, not cream of rice, basically the same thing though, banana and cinnamon and whey, and pink salt. So that's meal one. Now, I'll be honest, I have no idea what I was saying in the rest of this clip. I think I was saying something along the lines of, most people watching this video are probably dieting, hence why they clicked on it, because it's a full day of eating, high day. So if you are, I hope your prep or your diet is going well, and I hope if you are eating a meal while watching this, you're enjoying it. But yeah, I'm not too sure what I was saying for the rest of this, but I'm pretty sure I'm hoping, as I'm editing this, that this is the only clip that doesn't have audio. But yeah, meal 1 in the hatch. Right guys, so it turns out I actually didn't even record the last clip of me speaking, but it's been about 2.5, 3 hours or so, getting close to 3 hours I think since I had my first meal of the day. Got my pre-workout meal here, same foods as I usually have, just a bit more of it. I'm not on my food's not high, so I don't have like crumpets or anything at the moment, which is a bit of a shame because I actually love crumpets and jam. But either way, we've got some extra rice going in, we've got an extra packet of rice, and I've got an extra 20 grams of dates I think. This meal is usually like, I literally, aside from the initial drop, I haven't made any tweaks to this meal throughout the diet. It was, I can't remember what it was. I think it was 215 grams of carbs, peak off season. And then when I initially went into the diet, I think I dropped it down to like 140-ish, because it was quite an aggressive drop, obviously. But it's stayed at 140 carb throughout the entire diet. And now it's obviously, I think it's over 200 carb now. Can't remember the exact number, but over 200 grams of carbs here through obviously rice, got some dark chocolate, dates, and then I've got some chicken, and I'm gonna have a bit of chili jam on it. I always have chili jam on it, 25 grams of that, and then yeah, that's that. Oh, and then with some pink salt too. I was gonna say I'm gonna go watch some YouTube while I eat this, and then we're gonna go on a short walk because I've already done 6k, and Reese's caps me out at 15k steps max this week, which might be a bit hard to be fair some days, but 17k might have been a bit too much. But either way, I'm gonna go on a short walk after, just to help with the digestion. Digestion walk, bro. But yeah, I imagine a lot of you watching this are probably dieting because it's a food video, so you probably clicked on it because you want to see some food. But yeah, then I'll go training at the new gym, as I sort of stated earlier. It's not like a new gym, I've been there before, but training in a new environment today, which I'm excited for. But I don't think I'm gonna record too much of that because I just want to enjoy my session. So guys, here's the pre-workout meal. As you can see, dates, dark chocolate on this little plate, and then we've got some rice, some chicken, and chili jam with pink salt, obviously, in the big bowl, which is going to be my pre-workout meal. Right guys, so I've got to be careful because I keep accidentally ending it, and then I have to like reshoot it, and that's what's happened again. So yeah, either way, it's been about an hour since I had my pre-workout meal. I need at least an hour usually between like my pre and going to the gym sort of thing. I like a bit longer just so it digests well. I've got an EAA, so I'm gonna get an MPS spike anyway while I'm at the gym. But either way, been about an hour or so since my pre. I'll have a bit longer if it's legs or posterior, just because again I need my stomach completely clear so I don't throw up. But yeah, I'll show you guys my post-workout once I get out of the gym because I've made that already. It's not a long drive to the gym, so I'm actually going to have my post-workout at home. I've got it in the fridge cooling down so I can have nice cold rice pudding as opposed to earlier where it was slightly warm. I've got my intra with me over here. My intra is the same as it was when I first made the initial food drop in my diet. So it's still 30 grams of carbs or 30 grams of applied nutrition Carb X. So probably about 29 grams of carbs I think off the top of my head. And I've got the reason I haven't made any changes there is again just to help with upholding performance. Same with my pre-workout meal. Like I wanted to take away as little carbs as possible from that. I'd rather take it away from other meals so that when it comes to the gym, I've got the most amount of carbohydrates pre/intra workout, and even post workout. I did pull away quite a few carbs from post workout. It got down to like 45, 50 grams of carbs post workout. But either way, that's that, and I'm gonna go train now. Yes guys, so we are just wrapping up today's session now. Honestly, I think I'm gonna have myself eating my post-workout and then kind of talking over the cuts as I run through, because I didn't film everything. Filmed most of the chest compounds. I don't think I've really filmed any arms outside the preacher curl maybe, and then I filmed a pull downs at the start, which I'll come on to when I sort of running through stuff. But yeah, that's this session wrapped up. Just doing some steps to finish off post-workout, which set me to about 9k today. So I'll just go on a walk later and knock off the rest of my steps because I know I'll get them done, just otherwise moving around. So I'm aiming for obviously I said earlier in the video, 15k max. So I'm probably going to aim for 13.5-ish today. I don't really want to do any less than that. So that's probably my goal for today. Get myself to about 9-10k now. And then from there, knock the rest off on a walk this evening / this afternoon. A few more bits of work to do coaching wise. I've got a client call this afternoon, for a prep client next year, which is pretty exciting. Zach, shout out Zach. I think I shouted you out in the last video as well, so getting a lot of shout outs, bro. But yeah, it was a really productive session. I'll give a full rundown post workout, but yeah, let's get it, man. Yes, guys, not too sure what I was doing, honestly, because the audio for this clip as well is not there. So I clearly wasn't connecting my mic properly, but I know what I was saying in this one. It's my post-workout meal. As you can see, first of all, I'm pointing at my B-Tech version of JP Unwind, which is L-theanine, ashwagandha, and magnesium, which I take post-workout to help transfer me into a bit more of a parasympathetic state. I've got a top-up of my water bottle with some I don't think this is Fdoe, but it's a hydration product. I think it was the Trained by JP hydration product. Then we've got 2 crumbits with honey on. I prefer them with jam, but I didn't actually have any jam. So we've got honey, and then I've got another serving of ESN, not cream of rice pudding, sorry, with a little bit of cinnamon on top. Not too much, because I don't want to impact my digestion too much. Yes, guys, so we are now situated post-workout, obviously, and I said post-workout, I would run through sort of my session, a few things, just have a bit of a chat basically. So I've literally just cleared my WhatsApp, had a shower since I had my post-workout. So I've done some work bits, had a shower. I've got some water here. I thought I'd touch upon this because it's kind of related to a full day of eating. But this bottle will take me up to 8.25 litres of water today once I've consumed all this. So I'm sat around that sort of 7 litre mark, just over 7 litres so far. My baseline is generally around just over 10 litres. I think I average probably like 10.2 to 10.5 litres a week. Now, realistically, my baseline is high because I drink a lot of water. I'm a pretty thirsty guy, so I'm up a lot of the day as well. Especially on days I work, I'm up from 4:30 till maybe like 9:30. I'm doing I'm pretty much on the go the whole day. So obviously I'm going to drink a lot. I'm a pretty thirsty individual. I also find it very easy to drink a lot of water in one sort of go, which is a good thing and a bad thing because definitely when your food's higher, it can probably impede digestion to a good amount. But I'm not really that silly with it. I know when I need to lay off a little bit. Either way, I thought I'd run through a few of the training clips. So I'm just gonna have to kind of go off the top of my head of what training clips I've got because I'm going to let them play through on the left. I'm going to sort of talk through the session as a whole. But either way, the first training clip you should be seeing is essentially a close grip pull down. Now, I've just introduced this and it's something I've actually thought about for quite a while because I train back twice a week. So the frequency there could be a little bit higher. And realistically, my lats are quite a weak point. So I thought, if I transition over to training back, how can I transition over to training back 3 times a week without actually changing my sessions up or changing my split? I was I train pull on Wednesday, I train it on Saturday. My back's cooked from Wednesday through to Sunday. Monday, I could probably just about get away with doing maybe 1 lat exercise. So I was okay, I kind of like the idea of doing a pull down. I love pull downs. I don't actually have them in my program like a sort of standard close grip or wide grip pull down. I do them, but I do them at the end of my session. So it's just extra workload, and the quality of them's never going to be as good as it could be because it's right at the end of the session. So instead of having it at the back end of the session, I was okay, let's take that close grip pull down. And instead of doing it at the back end of a session where the quality is going to be pretty poor, let's move it to the front end of my push session, which is going to have a benefit most likely on my ability to actually stabilize. I always remember when I used to powerlift, I used to sometimes especially on a bench day, I'd always if I went straight into bench, I'd do some pull downs to essentially get some blood flow into my back to help with obviously me being able to actually engage my lats a little bit more and create a lot of retraction through that sort of upper back and therefore create more stability. I think it's massively beneficial in that regard, and considering I'm about to do a push session, it kind of makes sense. So started off with 2 sets there, which is the same amount of volume I'd usually do, just not at the back end of a session. So I thought that would be sound. Instead of if you're adding in volume, you don't really want to just add in 2 sets. You might add in 1 set just to see how you sort of tolerate the recovery side of things. But I knew I'd be sound with 2 sets, so I did 2 sets here. This is the top set, I believe. Take the stack here, not a particularly heavy stack to be honest, but I was pretty happy that I could take it. Either way, so we've got the close grip here. I did try out a different close grip instead of the mag grip here after the first set to see if I liked a slightly different grip more. I like the mag grip more. I'll stick with the mag grip. The only downside to the mag grip is you can't use straps. I didn't use straps anyway on the back down, so it doesn't really matter. But anyway, after doing that, I moved into my actual first sort of proper exercise for the push session, which is a lateral raise, essentially a potentiation exercise, and also like it makes sense to prioritize my delts a little bit more towards the start of the session. But either way, it's a really good potentiation exercise and warm-up exercise because obviously going to get a lot of blood flow around the delt. Then from that lateral raise, which I don't think I recorded, obviously as you can see, I've gone into a onto the Cybex OG Smith, which has just arrived at this gym, which is kind of the reason I wanted to go, because I've used it like once or twice before, but I wanted, like, obviously now there's one local to me. I was like, fuck it, let's fucking train here. Let's make the most of this, because I do like the Atlanta Smith, but this one feels like more like an actual barbell as opposed to like the Atlanta Smith is on like a fixed cable. It's a bit different. So, and it's like very smooth and floaty, which is, I quite like, to be fair. But either way, this feels really nice. So start with a baseline top set of 2 plates, because this is a bit heavier than the Atlanta Smith, to be fair, because it's not got the counterweights. And I think I got 5, and I was like, okay, yeah, sound. And then I did my back down, and I got like 11.5 with just shy of like 1.75 plates. Not amazing numbers, honestly. But again, like, I'll run this up. I want 3 plates minimum on this Smith. If it's the Atlanta Smith, like, I want like 3.5 plates. But I want like 3 plates on this Smith minimum, for this gaining phase, which I've no doubts in my mind I'll take, especially as I get more acclimated to this sort of setup as well, because like it was a bit foreign. Obviously, like usually I press on the Atlantis, like I was just saying. Also, like the racking system is like I did it backwards, as opposed to usually I unrack forwards to unhook the hooks, whereas today I was unracking backwards, and it does just feel a bit different. But either way, that's that. And then I moved into the Nautilus overhead press, which is another reason I wanted to train here, because I really struggle with stabilizing vertical presses as a whole, let alone with like a dumbbell press, and there isn't a particularly stable press or a particularly stable vertical press at SUPs aside the Smith machine, and I kind of get a bit bored of just doing high incline Smith all the time, and I also do it in my other rotation anyway. So I've got the Nautilus here, 2 sets here, and then I think I actually did like kind of a rest pause on the second set, because I was like, I kind of want to just try out the neutral grip. I prefer the wider grip, but I'm going to go into a rest pause. So on the second set, I basically did a set, and then I went into the neutral grip to do a rest pause because it was a bit easier. And yeah, that was sick, sound. I then believe I moved on to the Gym 80 sort of like decline pin loaded press. It's really nice. It feels very similar to the Gym Leco, like converging flat press or decline press. It's very similar. Like, it's quite heavy in the sort of stretch position, which is good, especially considering this is my 3rd press in the session. I was planning on just doing 1 set here. I ended up doing 2 because it felt really good. But yeah, I did 2 sets there. I was planning on basically splitting it because they have a really nice dip machine as well. And I was basically going to do 1 set on there and then 1 set on the dips, but because it felt really good, I did 2 sets there, and then I still did my set on the dip machine because the dip machine feels fucking mint, and I need more triceps and more chest, so did that as well. And then I moved into the Nautilus Nitro Evo Fly, 2 sets on there. I won't lie, it's definitely one that I'm gonna probably get again more acclimatized to as I do it more. I do really like it, but sometimes it just feels a bit off center sometimes, because even though you're essentially not even holding holding anything like you would on a regular pec deck, because it's essentially like foam pads that are on your arm. Sometimes I just feel like I get slightly more range of motion on one side. Sometimes it just feels a bit off center, but I'm sure the more I do it, the more I get used to it. Then moved into, before I actually did the flies, I did a bicep exercise to give my chest a bit of a break. I promise I don't overtrain. I promise. I just love training. But then I did a single arm preacher curl, which honestly I might switch to a dumbbell curl. They have the Cybex preacher curl too, but I don't really like it. But this matrix curl was very, very heavy in the short, like to the point like it was so stupid. Like I think you can see I do some like quite a couple of assisted reps, maybe even some partials as well. That might have been the back down, but it was quite heavy in the short. The resistance profile on it, not amazing. I really like, that's one thing I do like about SUPs, is the Gym Leco preacher curl is amazing. They also have the Prime one there, which obviously you can manipulate the resistance profile on that, but the Gym Leco one is phenomenal, man. But either way, single arm preacher curl there. I might do a dumbbell preacher curl going forward, because again, like the resistance profile that's slightly better. Not that fucking matters. Fuck resistance profiles. But either way, like I quite like a dumbbell preacher curl. Then I did the flies, which I just previously mentioned, before going into a sort of seated incline tricep push down, because the stability there is pretty good. They do have a Cybex like extension, but I don't really get along with it unless I do it single arm, and doing everything single arm does become a bit tedious, and it does just drag out the session. And while there are definitely benefits such as potentially higher motor unit recruitment to doing single arm work, I'd rather just fucking crack on sometimes. Anyway, plus tomorrow I've got enough single fucking or unilateral work anyway in my leg day. I've got bloody single leg curls, single leg extensions, so on and so forth. But either way, then I went into my final sort of movement of the session, which was literally just the Cybex like free motion seated cable curl thing. I didn't film that either, but yeah, that was pretty much the whole session wrapped up, to be fair. Then I obviously did some steps at the end. It was a really good session, and I'm excited. Like, obviously these were like sort of baseline numbers as well, and I'm happy with sort of where I'm at. But obviously now food's going to start coming up. Obviously creatine's just been sort of titrated up as well. It's going to be exciting to obviously run the numbers up here, and if I'm not gym pinning like a significant weight onto the Nautilus stack, pressing 3 plates and maxing out the gym 80 stack, which are all very, very sort of doable, kind of by the end of this year, to be fair, I'm going to be triggered. Like, those are definitely doable by the end of the year. The 3 plate Smith will be hard, but I will get it done, I reckon. But yeah, fucking sick session. Excited to, like, realistically, I think I'll probably transition this training more there as time goes on. But for the time being, it'll just be this session a week. I'm in a bit of a predicament when it comes to, like, because I just buy a day pass each time I do it there. I want to get a fob, so I might just buy a membership, but it works out cheaper to just keep buying day passes at this point. But I think I'll just buy a fob because it'll probably be easier, and I have to get day pass each time, which is a bit of a pain. But either way, that's that session wrapped up. My current plans are I've got a few more messages that have just come through on WhatsApp, so I'm going to obviously reply to those. Then I'm going to go on a little walk, 2.5k walk, which is the walk I did pre and post cardio. It's I don't know about you guys watching this, but I always have like different sort of set walks around my sort of house that I know will get me a certain amount of steps. So for example, up and down the road, 750, 800. If I'm to do up and down the road plus down past basically this pub past I live, and then down that road too, it's about 2.5k, which is the walk I'm going to do now. If I go to the park and back, that's like 2.67k, depending on how many times I walk around the park as well. There's a graveyard route as well, which is like 3.5, 4k, I think. Then there's the big loop, which I used to do in prep, where it's like 7k, which I essentially like walk past 2 service stations as well. So I'm like, oh fuck, I should just get a Starbucks, bro. Which I actually did do. Like in prep, I'd go get like an iced black coffee, which was really nice, and I haven't had Starbucks in a while, bro. Fuck Starbucks. I love Starbucks. But either way, that's this video pretty much wrapped up. I'll show you guys obviously my next 2 meals, which I'll probably be making my meal for when I come back from the walk, which is essentially sourdough, eggs, turkey rashers, and veg. It's my most nutrient dense meal of a training day. We've got beetroot, we've got lettuce, we've got tomatoes, and then on my last meal of the day is literally just like chicken and rice and veg. So I'll show you guys both of those, but that's pretty much the majority of this video wrapped up, to be fair. So guys, I hope you have enjoyed it. Like I said, I might just do the outro now and tab it on to the end, but I probably won't. But either way, like I said, I hope you guys are enjoying this video so far, and if you are, please like. You don't have to subscribe, but at least give me a like. But yeah, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Right guys, yes, so here we have meal 4, which is 150 grams of sourdough, 40 grams of sugar-free ketchup. Well, it's actually tracked as normal ketchup, but we've got 40 grams of sugar-free ketchup, or like 50% reduced or whatever. We've got some veg, we've got some tomatoes, lettuce and beetroot, so again, some good amount of micros going in there. I actually don't weigh these. These are the only thing I actually don't weigh on my diet, but they are kind of standardized. Like I have a handful of lettuce, so I actually usually have a bit more than that. The beetroot, I'll just take 2 bits of they come in like balls, so I take 2 of those and then I'll just cut them up. So it's always 2 of those, and then I usually have 6 tomatoes, but I've got 5 here. As you can see, I've absolutely burnt the fuck out of the turkey rashers in the air fryer because I kind of forgot they were in there. So they kept on cooking, so they're basically carbonated, so I probably won't yield much protein out of these, to be honest. At least not this one. This one's a lot worse than the rest of them. Then we've also got 2 eggs with some pink salt on top. Then I've got my breakfast for tomorrow, which is ESN rice pudding way. Same as first meal this morning, just obviously smaller portions, not high day food. This is my meal 5. You see veg, rice, and chicken in there, some chili jam. My pre-workout meal for tomorrow. So again, same as earlier, just less of it. So only 1 packet of rice, dates, and chocolate, dark chocolate in here. Chicken in there. Obviously got my protein and my hydration product because I'm going to my girlfriend's. But yeah, I'm gonna get all this, got all the stuff at the ready here. I've even got some grenade whey that I'm gonna keep in my car to obviously make sure I've always got whey on me. Like you never know when you might need some whey. But yeah, that's that. I'm gonna eat this now. Yes, hello guys, we are back because I realised I didn't actually touch upon one thing in this video. So I thought, first of all, I'd touch upon kind of giving you a breakdown of my whole like sort of full day of eating, which I'll bring up in a minute. Also my supplements, and also like sort of outro to the video, because I'm going to my girlfriend's and I'm not actually gonna realistically film that much more anyway this evening. So I thought I'd kind of end the video here. I did obviously kind of show you my meal 5. I'll put a photo of it if I remember. But it's literally just chicken and rice with veg. So it's like basically the same as my pre-workout meal, except it's got veg, as opposed to dates and dark chocolate. It's just veg, chili jam, rice, and chicken. So essentially, anyway, I thought, I haven't even plugged my mic in. I've got it in my hand, and I haven't even plugged it in. Either way, I'm inside, it's not really gonna make a difference. First of all, I touched upon my supplements. So post-workout, obviously I showed you guys my post-workout sups. I don't, if I have them with me, like if I have access to them, I'll take them post-workout. Always try and take them post-legs straight away, or like relatively soon. But it's, to me, I'll take it regardless. Like if I end up taking it in the evening, like to me it's not that big of a deal. Ideally though, I try and take those supplements there that I showed you earlier, so the ashwagandha, magnesium, and L-theanine. Try to take those post-workout straight away, just to sort of switch me out of that sympathetic state of nervous system into more of a parasympathetic state, because again, I've finished training. I kind of want to optimize my sort of recovery by obviously sort of being able to unwind, which is basically what I was taking in a way, is a B-Tech version of JP, trained by JP Unwind, with those ingredients I had, because it's basically the same panel as the stuff in there. And I do apologize because I am aware I look quite sweaty, but it is moisturizer from after I had a shower. I put moisturizer on my face, but I have just been on a walk, so probably a little bit of sweat as well. But either way, a few things I wanted to touch upon outside of that though, supplementation wise. So morning, I don't take any sups first thing in the morning. I have caffeine, there's that, and I obviously have I have my creatine and my hydration product first thing. But that's it. Obviously then pre-workout, I will obviously make intra, so I have an EAA, intra-workout carbohydrates, pre-workout. I think that's everything. Then obviously I have caffeine usually prior to training. I won't ever have caffeine after training unless I'm like really need it, because again, like I said, I want to be in sort of parasympathetic state. And then my like sort of like nighttime sups, which I take just before I have my meal 5. Like which realistically you want to, like a lot of supplements you actually do want to take over a meal, because a lot of them require like some level of fats to actually absorb them to a high level. So for example, like omega-3s. That said, I actually have pretty low fats in my final meal before bed, but I have been dieting, so it kind of makes sense. But usually it's a little bit higher. But either way, before bed, I have either the supplements I didn't take post-workout. I usually top up my magnesium anyway, if I regardless. So I'll have magnesium again. I won't have ashwagandha again. I don't even take ashwagandha every day, because I do find it has a sort of like almost Alexa, what's the word for feeling a lack of pleasure? I had to double check how to spell that. Ashwagandha made me, when I took it daily, a sort of higher dose, made me feel quite anodinic. I think that's how you say it. But it basically, like the sort of general inability to feel like pleasure, it makes you feel almost a bit numb, and like again, that could be placebo, but it is actually like a genuine side effect of it. If you are taking a lot of it, you do get the adverse effects of it. Actually increases your anxiety. So while you're probably taking it for sort of cortisol management and to reduce anxiety, if you take too much, it kind of has the opposite effect. Vitamin C, vitamin D, and K2. Right now I'm actually just taking vitamin D on its own, to be fair, or vitamin D3. But generally you should take it with K2, and then a multivitamin, omega-3s, I think I already said that, berberine, apple cider vinegar. And is there anything else potentially? Sometimes I take vitamin B because I just have some left over from prep, so I take it every now and again. Yeah, I think that's it, to be honest. I think that's all I take. Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. Yeah, I think that I'm 90% sure that's it. But that's the supplement side of things pretty much covered. Then a few other things I'll just quickly touch upon. So obviously my full day of eating, 5 meals. First meal, rice pudding, whey, banana. Second meal, rice, so pre-workout meal, rice, chicken, chili jam, dark chocolate dates. Post-workout meal, meal 3, more rice pudding. I actually wish I had a cereal, because like usually I'd have cereal. But either way, rice pudding, whey, crumpets, honey. Meal 4, sourdough, a mixture of veg, which obviously you saw, 2 eggs, 4 turkey rashers, ketchup. Meal 5, which I haven't had yet, but that will be, well, it's rice, chicken, veg, mixed veg. This veg I actually do weigh, which is funny because it's really low in calories, but it's frozen veg. And then again, chili jam. Chili jam is literally the only sauce I have. That and ketchup. That's this video pretty much wrapped up, guys. Obviously, I hope you had a great time watching it. If you have any questions or anything like that, obviously feel free to drop a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Please like and subscribe if you're feeling generous.